Ant-Man is a 2015 superhero film directed by Peyton Reed, starring Paul Rudd, Michael Douglas, Evangeline Lilly, Michael Pena, and that guy from The Strain, Corey Stoll. He's the bald guy. Basic plot of the movie is cat burglar Scott Lang, played by Paul Rudd, is recently released from prison. He's trying to get his life back on track so he can be with his daughter. But this is proving to not be that easy. People don't want to give him a job or really have much to do with him because he's just released from prison. Scott is then contacted by some of his friends with a job to steal some stuff. Scott reluctantly agrees because he doesn't have any other option to get the money to pay child support so that he can then go visit his daughter. Scott, using his skills as a cat burglar, breaks into a vault, but all he finds inside is a weird suit. Scott then learns that the suit isn't an ordinary suit. It's a super suit. The suit will allow him to shrink down to about the size of an ant or smaller. It'll allow him to telepathically control ants, and it will greatly increase his strength. Scott is then contacted by retired scientist Hank Pym. Pym offers Scott a deal. If Scott will help Pym steal an invention from his former protege, Darren Cross, then Pym will use his connections and resources to help Scott get back to his daughter. That's the basic plot of the movie. Overall, I would have to say the movie was good. It wasn't great, but it was good. The movie definitely had a lot of problems, such as something a lot of Marvel movies have a problem with, is the villain. The villain was very one note, just, I'm here to be a bad guy. And this is a problem that carried over to some other characters. A lot of characters did seem to feel very one note, such as Evangeline Lilly's character, who plays Hank Pym's daughter. She plays just a typical bitter at her father type character. Another problem that the film had is that at times it could get very, very predictable, especially towards the end. It becomes very obvious what's going to happen. You know what's going to happen, and what you think is going to happen, it happens. But the film also has a lot of good high points. For one part, it's really pretty funny. Paul Rudd is really good. Michael Pena is absolutely hilarious in the type of character he plays. Most of the actors have decent chemistry with each other, and the performances are good for what they're given. Evangeline Lilly's was a little stiff and wooden, but for the most part, most of the actors did a good job with what they were given. I think the film turned out pretty well for given its production history, with Edgar Wright leaving so quick and then bringing Peyton Reed on really fast and just rushing through the whole production of the film, essentially. One thing I was really, really impressed with in the film is the action sequences, the fight scenes. I mean, how do you work fight scenes around a guy whose power is he shrinks and talks to ants? How do you work that? Overall, they're pretty good. There's really only two main fight scenes in the movie. One about midway through the movie and then the climactic one towards the end. Now, I just have to say, both of them were pretty good. They did a great job of handling the fight sequences with a guy whose power is he shrinks, especially in the second fight sequence. It's really good. The action is well done, and it's also pretty funny in how it's staged. Overall, I'd say Ant-Man crawls in at 71%.